Do you know why? Do you know why Lou doesn't get those gigs? He even said it. He says in one of his podcasts, he said we all know that he could have done big things if they were in America. But the fact that he's in Canada means
Justin Bieber is Canadian. Hello guys, what's up? Welcome back to the Self-Taught Lovers podcast with myself, Dati Obey, Maxwell Dankwa, and Silas Paul. Fortunately, Maxwell is back with us from his trip, and we thank God for his life.
Yeah.
And hello, yeah, guys, welcome. Now we don't call Silas Bosom again. He's now called Oracle. He said he doesn't like the tree. He likes
really?
English. Yeah. So it's an oracle now.
It has a nice ring to it.
Exactly.
Oracle style. Yeah.
It's like Spider-Man and Kwekwa Nancy.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh.
The value is the same.
No shit to Kwekwa Nancy, but I don't know. The branding is not on form like that.
Anyway, so Maxwell, how's your trip?
Oh, was okay, but it was a bit tiring. But on the whole, I'm back in one piece. So.
Oh, thank God. You went by plane, eh?
Sorry?
You went by plane.
I thought you said plane. STC body pains, I guess, for you don't know. Shit. Great pass, Charlie.
Anyway, it's all good. Salas, I hope you're also good.
Yeah. I'm going in my Guma vicinity.
Hey, I just saw your picture on Instagram. Your my Bose headset or something.
Yeah.
With the hair.
I was getting like on calls and all. Like my profile picture was this old picture I took of myself in 2016, and people had a problem with the fact that isn't me anymore. So I should sort of like take a new picture.
You mean the one you use on your Slack as well?
Yeah, the one I use on Slack. I use it for like 5 years or 4 years now.
Yeah, it's a bit old, I think.
Yeah. So basically, putting it on Instagram is sort of my software update.
Hey. So the people were asking for something that actually represents who you are now.
Yeah, right.
The Oracle you are now, okay.
Yeah, Oracle version 1, yes.
Oh, that's cute.
An update will be released soon, so we should.
Hey, why longer
It has a lot of bugs.
Are you going to call me Eugenius?
Oh no! I mean the hell
with extensions.
Oh no. My mom has suggested I go to a salon and
Your mom, we should get Dobsu to come and arrest her by now.
Hey, what do you mean by
she said you should go. Hey, your mother is suggesting you go to a salon anyway.
Allowing me be myself.
Anyway, in actual sense, the salon isn't actually a feminine place. It's basically a place where people with long hair get to do their hair, and also to people who want to work on their nails and stuff. They visit the nail tech there. But just that Ghana is everybody's mind respect to we recently outdoored our own local 6ix9ine. Bro 60 or bro 360. Nana bro, I've seen his rebranding.
Yeah.
Yes.
With the extensions.
Was it Sheldon's video on it or something?
That's some long answer, to be honest. That's some serious extension.
Well,
I mean, once he's expressing himself and being true to himself.
We have our own Tekashi. Anyway. So in the last episode, Salas and myself, we spoke at length. I didn't realize that episode ended. It was just it was after 1 hour that we realized that it was actually 1 hour, so we had to end abruptly. But then we could have gone on and on about the topics.
Mentally, because anytime we are on it, like we use the 40 minutes as a benchmark. So like sort of time, but it was no longer there. So I felt like so that happens, we still have to talk.
So I think we should get rid of Maxwell. Anyway, so Maxwell, what's up? What are we doing today? We are going to talk about a couple of things. One, something popped up last week concerning MTN and the Ministry of Communications, and I mean particularly the NCA, and also we are going to look at the major topic for this episode is comparing the Apple and the iOS and Android operating systems. All three of us have had an opportunity to use these two platforms or these two operating systems, and we want to compare
your privilege.
Yeah, we want to compare, have a conversation about why some of us are using Android or stuck to Android, and why some of us moved from Android to iOS and are using it full time. So, Maxwell, NCA, what happened?
Okay, basically, just to lump up the whole story, NCA, National Communications Authority, recently came out with a categorization that puts MTN in a group that they call significant market power, meaning that it's basically in a chunk of the telco space compared to others. And surprisingly, unless I'm guessing there are some consequences to that categorization, because MTN came out to say they do not approve of that categorization as a significant market power, and went as far as
a significant
the
market
Supreme
player.
Court.
Market
Is it player?
Yeah, I just
power. Market power. SMP.
Yeah, SMP, market power.
Yeah.
I've highlighted something on the screen.
Oh,
really? Well, I'm reading from a Joy article.
Hey, but the actual word is market power, right?
I mean, that's what I'm also saying. I'm also reading.
Hey, Ghana. Let me see. Ghana there. So now SMP. Wait.
Yeah, significant market power is the European telecommunications market. The fourth row. Wait, like on your screen. Like it actually came. You just have to go back.
Being there,
yeah, the fourth row. I mean, the player has to do with the video game, and then the power has to do with the regulation.
The regulatory.
Okay. So
that means graphic. I'm coming to graphic.
Agenda.
Graphic. Yo. Anyway, Maxwell. Yeah.
So apparently, this categorization did not go down too well with MTN, and they came out to sort of fight this categorization. But when you look at what a significant market power means, it basically is significant. My goodness, today is not my best days. Okay.
Don't worry.
Significant
market power. Episode, a bit do so.
Yeah, I think I was listening this afternoon. I've been made a mess of the word conglomerate. Anyway, guys, if you go back to listen, it was a golden moment. Anyway, significant market power occurs when prices exceed marginal cost and average cost. So the firm makes economic profit. As a result, many countries have antitrust or other legislation intended to limit the ability of firms to accrue market power. So apparently, this categorization means MTN is going to, put itself in line with a lot of heavy legislation that will target its profits. So that's how come they are particularly concerned about this categorization. And we even see signs of it because, yeah.
They've sold parts of their subsidiary businesses to a Dutch company, which makes them, which has taken most of their money into tax havens in Europe.
I think. Well, I'm not surprised because A tax haven would mean that they dodge some hefty requirements to the state. So that should mean that some of their profits will be shipped elsewhere as against being taxed. And that's what happens
Exactly.
when you see that you are coming under the lens of government or those things. And these are just things that are going to eventually happen. So I can understand that move. As to whether it was the right move, I'm not too sure. As to whether there are consequences, we are yet to see. So MTN this categorization because there are obvious repercussions. We've heard stories of is it Rockefeller when Rockefeller built Standard Oil? We've heard stories of how the state had to break it down because they said they were too big to fail, and that's where MTN is headed. So this is basically one of the reasons for that, I think.
But then, in what logical way can MTN break up? Would they break up the telco and the MTN mobile money, or they'll break up transmission or their max business and the telecommunications? I don't really see how.
With the interview I had S03E10 give, she was saying that, of course, it's not a personal thing with MTN, and the whole idea is to put the Ghanaian consumer first, because we recently saw how the whole country was plunged into mayhem when MTN's deep sea cable broke. We saw that we didn't need alternatives, and
my
it
table net
shows
was
that
not
our
working.
system is our system is liable to certain shocks when something happens to MTN. And no, it's not in the interest of any country to have just one chief supplier being the most reliable. So I guess maybe with this categorization, it would mean that it would really tighten some of one or two things and probably give a helping hand to other telcos so that they can also increase their market cap or something like that. So it's definitely not good news for MTN, and it's not their fault anyway. In a free space where you can play and you don't have much competition, it's not their fault that they've grown to this extent.
Hey,
So
much competition. The sarcasm,
really, they haven't.
the subtle, because I feel Vodafone was at a very good position. The fact that they a government-owned telecommunication company was sold to them, meaning so much investment had been made in the past to help them grow from the point they met. They met the whole system, and they didn't really take advantage of it. And also to Airtel Tigo too. After these two companies merged into one, I felt it could have been like they had so much resources relatively at their hand to actually get the ball rolling, but then MTN still managed to dominate it. And in the last episode, I was saying something around the fact that MTN really understands the business that they are in. They understand how important it is to connect people. In the past, they understood how important it is to connect the remote areas. That's why they have their slogan everywhere you go. Even though factually speaking, it isn't true, because there are some remote areas that do not have connectivity. But then when you compare MTN's reach as compared to, let's say, Vodafone or Airtel Tigo, you realize that they reach further than these people. So they really understand the business they're into. When it comes to internet connectivity, they really understand that internet is now embedded in the fabric of the average Ghanaian middle class. The average Ghanaian middle class needs internet to literally survive. When it comes to business, when it comes to even see banks use a lot of intranets, and these intranets also need ISPs to communicate with each other. Like, let's say a bank in Accra needs to communicate with a bank in Kumasi. All these things have to run on something. So they really, really understand this. And also when it comes to mobile money, they understand the fact that there were so many unbanked people who needed money to be sent from one point to the other. And the best way to get that was to use their phones. And since NCA already enforced the whole mobile SIM registration, they had the infrastructure set up to help them roll out this new what's the name, innovation that was mobile money. So I feel they really understand the business. They
They
understood
got
and
in at
still
the right
understand.
time, isn't it? They
Exactly.
got
And
in at the right time, and they outdid their what competitors by a huge
I wouldn't
margin.
say they got in at the right time, because all these three players in those days, there were 4 or 5, were all in a system where all these things were rolling out. So I wouldn't
When
really
I
say
say
they
at the
got.
right time, I don't mean the telecommunication business. I mean the mobile money business.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, let me read this
They
some
got in at
parts.
the right time and made things happen.
Yeah, guys. On the 8th of September, an article published by Ghana Web, where Salom Adadevo, the chief executive of MTN, spoke to the press in a virtual forum. He said 70% of our investors are foreigners, and they've been calling us since this significant market power declaration was made. Investors are shaken, usually want to put their money where there is stability. He said MTN Ghana has, however, done a good job to reassure investors that there are efforts to ensure that investments remain safe. And here's a bit of background to this whole brouhaha. Since MTN entered the market, the least share of the market space MTN has had is 45% plus.
Of
So
the
they've always
Ghanaian
at any
market.
point in time, yes. So they've always controlled half of the market at any point in time. From when they were Scancom, when they were Ariba.
Ariba really helped them, because Ariba was very big before they.
Yeah.
Did they sell to MTN, or Ariba changed to MTN?
They sold.
They sold to MTN.
Yeah.
Okay, the same way
With
Bank
23.9 million voice subscriptions. Yeah. With 23.9 million voice subscriptions, MTN Ghana controls 57% of the subscriber market share currently, far ahead of Vodafone, Airtel, Tigo, and Glo, which are at 21%, 20.3%, and 1.75. Glo should just pack up and go. They don't have any business yet.
Glo, do people still use it?
Well, they do. It's to shock you.
Is Glo a shelf company?
A shell company or a shelf company?
Shelf.
What does that mean?
Are they using the company to do other things under?
Oh no.
So you mean a shell company?
It's not shelf.
Like you mean a channel for money laundering, like those places
I didn't say anything.
British Virgin Islands and Panama places, those companies.
I haven't said anything. But then don't you think it's a shelf company?
Glo is big in Nigeria, and I think their business model in Nigeria sort of worked, so that's why they are big in Nigeria. But I think they didn't settle well in the Ghanaian market, so that's why their market shares quite small. But I can definitely say they are not like a shell.
But then technically speaking, I wouldn't say that.
The word is shell company.
It's
shell.
Not SHELF.
No.
Yeah.
Is it? It's shell, right?
Is it?
Shelf.
It's shell. SHELL.
No. A company that has actually is been registered, not necessarily to do business, but then to
Shell Corporation. A shell company business that's created to hold funds and manage another entity's financial transactions. Unlike traditional companies, shell corporations don't have employees and aren't traded on exchanges.
Okay, so what I meant was the shelf company, which was looking for the meaning of a shelf company or corporation.
The shelf corporation. Shelf corporation or aged corporation is a company or corporation that has had no activity. It was created and left with no activity, metaphorically put on the shelf to age. So yes, that's a different context.
That's a different context. So I think
it's what I meant shelf.
Usually it doesn't have any illegal connotations attached to it with shelf. But shell, illegal and all.
I think so. I think what I meant was shell, not shelf. So because they don't seem to be doing much, but then they still exist.
Yeah.
But
So
then
MTN is 57% of the market. That's dangerous. Just one company
Yeah, and
for the telco
apparently,
space.
so this thing came up. I never knew that like the National Telecommunications Policy actually has something like that. So based on that policy, any operator with 40% or more market share in voice, data, SMS, and the value added service is what they basically tag as an SMP. That's a significant market power.
so
And
that means
that's Maxwell
MTN
said.
has been an SMP since they
They
entered
entered the
market.
space.
Yeah.
Yeah, since they entered the space, which was very alarming. But I think the reason why like the NCA is concerned is basically the numbers maximum. So 4G in the 4G market, MTN owns like close to 92% of the 4G market in Ghana.
Give it all to them. Why? Don't take anything. Give it all to them.
Vodafone is at 6.7%. Self-line is at 1.7. We have
Are they still alive?
The rest are all on pity.
No, MTN, what helped them was the fiber cable that they laid. So it made their 4G infrastructure extremely cheap.
I mean, I don't exactly blame MTN because I feel like they were very quick with their innovation processes. Like, I don't know if you remember, back when I was in high school, Tigo was a bit popular, like around amongst my classmates. Tigo after 9, and Nigeria Day. Like,
hey, cool. How did you know?
But
when
I
think was in church, this is what you were doing.
At that time, there was no internet penetration.
Yes, but I'm just talking about how MTN adapted to, because Ariba, I should say, Space for Ariba was still there, but then at that time Tigo was like on top because I had a Tigo SIM, and then as like technological advancements happened, Airtel and Tigo weren't like fast in like adopting changes and then serving the new consumer base that was coming up, which is the internet savvy Gen X and then internet savvy millennials. But MTN was quick in doing that, and then basically it makes sense that like they have a huge chunk of the market share. But then what even was surprising was when mobile money came in. I feel like mobile money was really a turning point for MTN because they literally like bulldozed through it and then just cleared everyone out of the way. To the extent that right now Vodafone doesn't even charge anything on
more money transactions. It's customer acquisition
more money transactions. Yeah. So that really speaks to how like Vodafone is really like crumbling under the, should I say the monopoly? Yeah, basically crumbling under the monopoly.
I think Vodafone's best bet is to increase the accessibility of their platform. That's all. That and they have to sacrifice customer safety. That's one thing they don't want to, because MTN has actually thrown our safety out of the window. So the way what I'm looking for is privacy. They've thrown our privacy out of the window. That's why people get random calls. Yeah, that's why people get random calls and messages from fraudsters.
Oh, the MTN fraud calls.
The MTN fraud calls.
Experience that.
So what Vodafone does is that Vodafone, before you can access Vodafone Cash, it's either from Vodafone Cash accredited outlet or merchant or a Vodafone shop, and you realize that Vodafone Cash has very few merchants. No, are they called merchants?
Yeah, called merchants.
But MTN has a lot. So why MTN opened it up to a lot more people as compared to Vodafone. That's why you have the issue of Vodafone. A lot of people not really. Because personally, I actually have both accounts, Vodafone and MTN. But I tend to use MTN a lot because when I just walk out of the house, I can withdraw money. But Vodafone, I have to be on campus. I have to, like, the whole procedure was stressful. So I just ended up not using it much.
Yeah. So but if they were to break MTN right now, would people still patronize their services, or would jump ship and move to another service?
Well, I don't think what is being discussed is a total fragmentation of MTN. Because look at this, I came into this article. Let me share it to the page as well.
I'm sure they can
MTN's
get.
competitive MTN's competitors await modalities on SMP. So the vouchers are flying over. Non-significant market operators, I like this description. Non-significant market operators, Airtel, Tigo, and Vodafone, are eagerly preparing on how to take advantage of the new classification of MTN as a significant market power following the NCA's declaration. So it should tell you that people are waiting on whatever that means to be an SMP for the NCA, whether they would then give, let's say, um, the non-significant players a certain opportunity to use some of MTN's infrastructure to probably broaden their reach or whatever. We don't know what it will translate into, but it looks like they stand to benefit because the competition will be a bit, eased up for them.
But
So yeah.
if I were MTN, that would really suck because it means that all the hard work I put into like
No, I think all they'll do is that they'll just create subsidiaries out of their departments. That's all.
I understand that, but I'm saying that
Yeah.
it will basically suck because I don't. This is my opinion though. I feel like the other telcos are not being as innovative as MTN, and then that is why I could be wrong though. I could be wrong
You're
as to whether
spitting the truth. Preach.
they are having some they are doing some fraudulent means to like actually capture the market or whatever. But from where I sit, like MTN is basically innovative with their data packages, with mobile money, even with my MTN app. So I don't have to do USSD and all that. All these things make me basically want to like stay on MTN. And even with the introduction of TurboNet, TurboNet was literally like a groundbreaking thing in the Ghanaian internet space because almost every home was trying to purchase one. And
right now, in my house in Accra, my dad recently moved to TurboNet. My sister has her own TurboNet. so already there are two.
And TurboNet is freaking good. I mean, they have downtimes and all, but the data packages on it too are very good. Like they literally pay close to 75 pesos for 1 gig.
Exactly.
I could be wrong, but that's the convention. Like, yeah.
No, I think it's between 80 to 90 pesos per gig. When I did, because it's 300 cedis for like 3 to 4 gig. Yeah, so close to 1 CD per gig. When the higher you go, this is the higher you go. So don't go and buy 10 CDs and expect to get that.
But it means that the higher you go, the more
it evens out. It evens out around 300, 500. It evens out around 300 to 350 CDs. After that, the change isn't that significant. So the best value you get is close to 300 CDs. Yeah.
But I don't know compared to other telcos. I don't know if they have like such competitive items.
Oh, it's expensive. Like Vodafone, why? Anyway.
Example is back in tech. I remember my room. There were specific parts in the room where like you couldn't get like.
No. The problem with KNUST was what's the name? The density, user density, because Vodafone was okay. They still are. So because Vodafone partners the institution and gives out SIMs to the students, a lot of students use Vodafone. So, but then the infrastructure wasn't developed enough. The infrastructure wasn't developed enough to take up all these people. So you realize that when the max gets full, because in communication we have nodes. So these nodes connect to each other. So when the nodes are when the nodes are so Maxwell has sent a message concerning Silas's mic that it's having mood swings. Anyway. So
Silas, your breath.
So when the nodes are full, your call drops because it's not able to connect onto the network. So that was actually the issue with KNUST. So I'm sure with time they may have to find a way of what's the name of increasing the capacity of the telecommunication equipment they've installed on campus, because other networks like MTN wasn't given that issue.
But is that to say if MTN was given the same opportunity as Vodafone, they wouldn't have done better?
We don't know. We can't tell.
MTN was able to buy 4G architecture or whatever because of the scale at which it operates. Exactly. It has that much profitability. So let's not count out the other competitors too much. They could have obviously done more if they had MTN's resources. So if the market does even out, probably they could
have MTN resources. Oh, yes.
They don't. No.
I mean,
no, but
Vodafone is richer than MTN.
Yeah, Vodafone is richer than MTN.
Not Vodafone Ghana. I'm talking about Vodafone as an organization.
No, but even if you don't have money, like obviously you want like other parts of your businesses or other branches of your businesses to do well. So you obviously make that investment to make sure that you still capture, you do well regardless of the market you're in.
I think we should always be mindful that economies of scale plays a huge role, especially when it comes to technology in Africa, because generally we are not heavy users. So unless you capture a huge marketplace,
and investors will want to reap their money back.
Yes, going over your head and over-investing, chances that you would get as much profit, that's if you don't squeeze blood out of it, is very, very low. Because that tends to happen, you understand? Because look at Surfline. Surfline was delivering like a very good speed, but their rates, it was too high because they don't have a huge catchment, and they had to deal with how to balance it, or they're going to run themselves into the ground. I think this is one of the big problems. That's how come you see Glow offering trashy internet, because they are not killing themselves for anybody. They literally aren't. You understand? So 1.7.
You know the way says so. Glow, you know the way says how they are still surviving. They haven't sold out.
Oh, I mean, like I feel like their parent company is their parent company in Nigeria.
Yeah.
Yeah.
In Nigeria, they have like a huge market share.
Exactly. Yeah, I think they're one of the biggest.
Yeah, so I feel like given the internet, so they could still push cash.
For what reason? No, the question is for what reason?
I mean, right now the SMP thing is coming up where they're trying to break their monopoly. So hopefully, the Glow body is hoping to make a comeback.
Do they have a customer care shop? Do they sell?
I haven't seen some.
Do they sell credit?
Yeah, they do.
You see, if you go to a woman opposite your house,
they see them as scratch cards, but you know they move cry.
Where you see there was scratch cards?
Where for campus, the environs of campus, I see their scratch card around here. But I've been seeing one in the display glass for quite some time.
Now and then, someone can even put Ariba or Space Phone there.
Okay, I see it to be branded. Like he uses to brand like this space shop.
Yeah.
But
then they did out. So when you see then Glue,
they dash data.
They dash a lot. They do a lot of giveaways. You understand? Yeah. Probably in the whole bid to get customers. Somebody say between the hours of 2:30 and 3, that's when Glow is fastest, and that's why he buys the SIM. So why the hell would I stay up for that 30-minute window to get good internet? How desperate can I be? Like,
I mean, I've used. Should I say I've used? So like, I think a couple of friends and I used it to finish a quiz. That's because one of us was using Glow, and then apparently he had like an extra data package to spare.
But talking about Tigo, it looks like Tigo hasn't gotten the message. They are still giving away free calls instead of working on improving their internet. It looks like if you know you're good at something, just
right now,
give your all for that.
It's Airtel Tigo.
Sorry, Airtel Tigo. That's one of the worst marriages I've ever seen. Airtel Tigo. All of them are crappy.
2 years are better than
You
one.
Yeah,
think?
boom. Hi.
But two
In
empty
this
heads are
scenario,
just
it didn't apply.
no. 2 empty heads are just 1 empty head.
I don't
But
know, because I felt like them
this-
bonding,
yeah,
coming together should like they should have remodel their business concept or business model or whatever to like fit. Especially right now, like 4G and internet is a huge thing in Ghana.
there,
And basically
yeah.
that's what MTN is
I
benefiting
saw
from.
I saw an article recently. No, back in after their merger, that they said they were collaborating with Siemens to boost their existing. Is the word 3G plus or 3.75G or something? Some miserable figure be like that. 3.75G internet speed. You know they catch 4G safe. So the 5G there, I don't think
But
we are anywhere
sometime back,
close.
that was an ish.
3.75G.
Yeah, I remember Vodafone used to have like huge marketing.
No, I don't think Ghana itself is ready for 5G because of the possibilities. We do not have the infrastructure that we need it currently. And even the 5G this is our 4G that we are experiencing. There's somebody's 3.5 in the US. So even the 5G we experience will be like 4G. So
Too much latency.
Anyway, speaking of latency and slow devices, Android
Salas
and
is mine.
Hey. Please, I'm sorry. Hey.
we are looking at Android and iOS. And
Well, Ben, what was your first? What was your first? Shall I say mobile phone or smartphone?
Everyone's first device, there's a high chance was an Android.
I'm set.
Like nobody front.
My first device was a Nokia 3310.
Nobody front for this podcast.
My first device was a hand me down Nokia 3310. Then I think after
smart.
I said smart.
I think it was a Motorola Droid or something.
Oh, okay. That phone was actually very good. Wasn't it a 4G phone?
Mankai. But I
Hey,
mean,
wait, it was a 4G phone at that time.
Is it Motorola Droid?
Because we're using it a lot. It was like the dope phone. Motorola Droid, yeah.
Wait, I mean, like right now, I think they have a refresh on that line.
No, it's not. No, it's the it's rather the. It's a new Motorola. Is it the one with the curved display?
Razer. Was it a Razer?
Yeah, I think it's a Razer that it's a Razer that they've done a refresh. Was it the Droid I was using? Nah, the phone. What's the Droid? I think it was this.
You know, be this one.
No, it wasn't this one exactly, but the Droids, they had different types.
Okay.
But I've forgotten.
Droid. It was definitely not the QWERTY keypad.
But what I know is that there was Verizon on the phone those days. If you want to buy Android phone second hand, you have to buy one with Verizon written on it or AT&T. Hey, we've come far.
Or Sprint.
Yeah, or Sprint.
Hey. My first one was a Sprint Sony Ericsson. That had like some circular dial on top. It was pretty dope for games.
No, it wasn't. It was. I think it was HTC Droid.
Was there a slider? Was there a slider?
It was a slider.
Yeah, I've seen that phone.
It had some.
It was this one. It was HTC Droid. This is the phone.
Yeah.
HTC Droid, not Motorola Droid. HTC Droid.
This phone too was the beast too. This time.
This one was very popular. I think I
had a horrible battery.
I still have it in a car.
Horrible battery.
I still have it in a car.
Shout out to maintenance culture.
Most of the Android boys, that's when they learned like a lot of configuration in their Android.
This is exactly how the phone was. Oh, so nostalgic.
And when these phones were penetrating the market, we realized that these Android games seem to be a big deal, like Talking Tom, Subway Surfers.
Hey, I'm heading towards 6 years of not having a game on my phones.
It's just a year since I've not had a game on my phone.
I'm so proud of myself.
I always have a game on my phone.
I have.
But wait, what do you mean by game? Because I have quiz apps. I have
zero.
those kind of apps.
Means zero.
Maxwell,
Zero.
are you calling a quiz app a game? I mean, like,
But it's a game.
A game.
For example, a Sudoku game. Okay, no, that's
a
different.
gigo.
No, a quiz app is a game. Like
different. You're being different.
Nah. But say I would download a full-fledged game like League of Legends or something like that.
Yeah, then what do you call it? There was this one where
PUBG.
Like, you used to.
But then
there's PUBG, and then there's this piano game. I've forgotten the name.
Piano Tiles.
Piano Tiles. Yeah.
But then
that one is dope.
I recently hacked my PS Vita, so I'm looking at getting some more games. Yeah, I see me here.
Under like what 2008, 2009. I
still have it. I got 2007.
2010.
Yeah, no, I mean I had one, but I think I gave it out or something. I don't remember.
I still have mine from the year it came out. That's it.
Do they still make games for it?
They don't, but then I mean there are always ways of getting it.
So it's decommissioned. Probably you might use it for multimedia purposes.
No, but the thing about PlayStations is that PlayStations don't die out.
I mean they have this vintage community online where like they pride themselves in using like the old things.
Old stuff. Because even PlayStation Portable is still people still use it.
No, but you won't get new titles. You won't get new titles.
Do you need it?
Unless it's a mod. It's still a mod version. They have black markets.
You need a CD. So like those spherical CDs, like actually.
No, but then you can use the software installations too.
Yeah, but you get those ones. I'm not sure the developers
like jailbreaking it.
Or you get it because the store that no, let's not talk too much about this. But then it's possible.
What have you been doing?
It's possible. It doesn't matter. It's possible. Anyway, so Maxwell asks that most of us had our first phones as Android, and I mean it's our first smartphones.
That statement as a matter of fact, or
it's a matter of fact. It is a matter of fact. One, because of the fact that iPhone, even though iPhone was the first, I think iPhone was the first smartphone, and they introduced the whole market. But Android was so.
But hold on, wait. Are you sure iPhone was the first smartphone? Because BlackBerry did come.
BlackBerry wasn't really a smart. BlackBerry was more of a feature phone.
It was like a PDA / phone.
Well, yeah.
I mean, it was. I mean, it fits that category, but I think everyone gives that title to Steve Jobs.
Everyone gave
commercially available phone. First commercially available phone. These ones, obviously.
No, I'm certain it's the iPhone because the iPhone gave birth to the whole unibody rectangular screen that we call the smartphone today. The home button and all that. That's where the inspiration of the smartphone came. Even podcasting was a word defined by Kwame Atta-Jobs. And there are so many things that he not necessarily he invented, but that Apple invented and revolutionized those systems. So I'm very much certain that the first smartphone can be attributed to iOS, to Apple. But the problem is, Apple was then expensive, and also it wasn't really accessible. But then compared to Android was just an operating system, and mobile phone manufacturers could install it on whatever device they wanted, unlike Apple. So Apple had a hardware restriction, meaning the growth of products that had the iOS software on them was actually stunted as compared to Android. Anyway, so Maxwell
Actually, the
voluntarily.
BlackBerry 850 came in 1999.
I wasn't
With a,
categorized as a smartphone or a feature phone or a phone
well,
phone.
at that point, okay, if you say smart means internet, right?
Yeah,
So
yeah,
that
internet
was
connectivity.
2007. That was Steve Jobs. That's it.
Mm. Anyway, so Maxwell voluntarily moved from iOS back to Android.
Yeah.
I the owner of my phone came for it. So he whoever the owner of my phone
It was
was
mugged.
said
Then
I didn't
Kwashiam,
deserve
then
it. Said I didn't deserve it. So he or she climbed walls, 10 cameras, and came to take my phone. So I had to move to Android, and I'm loving, like I always talk about my device. Even I was talking to Douglas. Douglas will listen to this episode about the fact that the phone, I have no regrets, and he even had. Oh, not necessarily, because one, I didn't want to um invest. No, it's not really investment. I didn't want to.
hypothetically, let me not even let Obin talk. Hypothetically, he has a not so huge budget,
I have
but
a very
still a
small
very
budget.
decent budget. But
It's,
still a very decent budget. Could have gotten a top of the line, but not modern flagship iOS phone.
that's true.
But
That's true.
when he opts for Android with that budget, I mean, he's getting flagship and 2020, caliber
That's true.
stuff. So it
Because
was a no-brainer. You understand?
exactly, Maxwell. Thank you very much, Piero and Casa. Anyway, and Silas moved from an Android to an iOS. I have been using that since. So
Silas, when did you switch to the dark side? Last year.
Yeah, that was, I think,
Okay.
was it after or
Before grad or after grad?
before?
I
No,
think
it was after
around,
grad.
yeah.
Yeah, but my Android phone at the time had some functionality issues, and it finally died on me. So
What model were you using?
I was using a J7 Pro, so a Samsung Galaxy J7 Pro, and
That's a mid-range Samsung.
yeah, that was a mid-range Samsung. Finally, before that, prior that, I spoiled my Galaxy Note 4. It fell in seawater, so like I had to upgrade.
It fell in seawater.
It was a freshwater fish that was put
It fell in
in
seawater.
seawater.
What were you doing in this?
Question for the gods.
So we are not going to discuss this, but it fell there. That's where it
Okay,
fell.
right, sure.
And eventually it didn't survive. So like I had to. I think my dad was mad at me because that happened. So like I had to sort of like salvage and get that myself. So that's why I actually got that, because like it sort of fitted my budget at the time.
But then I could
And
always argue that. So wait, what was your take when you were using Android? Was it good? Do you think iOS is better? Then I
mean
counter
now iOS is better. I think if I started using iOS like 2 or 3 years ago, I would definitely envied like the Android boys. But right now I feel like Apple has stepped up their game in terms of copying things from the Android market. Hey, the Android OS, and then basically giving it to them.
Yeah, I'm like Silas. I feel that it depends on what level of device you are using. That dictates how good an experience you can claim to have had before. For example, I was using what was I using again? I was using an XS, yes, uh, iPhone XS. So it was the one after the X. Nothing really extraordinary about it. It had a notch, but at the same time, it was one of the very first flagship. After, of course, the second flagship after Apple introduced the Face Unlock. So it was pretty new technology. There was a lot of fuss around it, but it was high-end stuff. Yeah. So I was experiencing the best of Apple that Apple has to offer. So, but I still didn't see the fuss in iOS because I saw all of it. The latest iOS was on that device before I switched. But you left Android using and not using a J7. Is it J7?
Oh no, actually, so I think I forgot to put that in before.
Use a Note 4, isn't it?
Yeah, I use a Note 4 J7 Pro, and I use a Google Pixel.
Google Pixel what?
3
okay.
XL. That's what I used before jumping ship and
then that makes sense.
Buying a 10X.
That makes sense.
So I feel like that was my first experience of like the whole total like Android OS, because it was obviously a Google phone, so I basically had.
But my point still.
But
my point still hold. Maybe not for you, but for those who are so critical of Android, well, they haven't used the best Android has to offer. Arguably, any counterpart in because Apple's OS is closed off and they work directly to improve their hardware via their software. It's hard to argue with how they're able to keep up with updates and all that. But with Android, it's not such a step-in-step kind of approach. We have an open source software where people have their own, out-of-the-box skins, out-of-the-box iterations like EMUI or One UI and those things. And those things enhance or water down the experience. So it depends on which device you are using. For example, the Pixel 3 you are using, obviously, probably got the best of the Android has to offer compared to Obin's Huawei that he's using, which obviously is it One UI? Is it One UI or EMU?
You just had to make that comparison.
It's EMUI.
Yeah, EMUI is a big deal to those in Huawei communities. They monitor their updates closely. You understand? Yeah. But I mean, it's entirely different affair, and it has a different effect when it comes to how you use it. So Android users have varying experiences. You understand? So it's hard to give a whole, rounded opinion about the Android experience just by saying Android is trash and iOS is better. I think it's nuanced, so we have to be a bit careful.
Yeah, I very much agree with that. I feel like before Google started releasing like their own line of smart devices, basically,
I think Android it was a worse decision. I think they should have stuck with the whole collaboration thing. Because I mean, Google like, owns.
I don't feel like it was bad though. I feel like they couldn't keep up with.
No, they've lost their market again. Because right now, their selling point was basically the cameras and cheap plastic builds. But then the selling point was the cameras. Now these companies, like this Huawei phone, like this, it costs peanuts, but the camera is excellent. It has 4 cameras.
Yeah, you have the
wide.
Oppo, OnePlus,
exactly.
Samsung,
So all
Samsung
of a sudden,
is even the best when it comes to like satisfying various like economic classes.
Exactly.
Because they've basically made a phone for every class.
Exactly, just like that. And I know Google doesn't need this extra cash. I don't know, and also too, it's not like they need our data too because they own Android. They already have the data. So I don't see what exactly. But then.
But I feel like Google releasing the Pixel gave us, Android users an experience of how unadulterated Android is supposed to be like. Like you get Android in its rawest form, should I say?
Well, I agree with that fact because now the hardware matches exactly with the software, just like Apple and iOS. iOS works so well on Apple because Apple is a manufacturer and they developed iOS. So it makes more sense that if Google has their own device, just like how Microsoft works, Windows works so well with a Microsoft device, and you realize that the ecosystem and everything is brilliant and excellent.
Yeah. You even made me think of something. You see the way, before Microsoft released their own hardware line, that was the Surface laptops. They were basically distributing OS on other hardware distributors or hardware companies like Dell, Lenovo, HP, and all that. But given the fact that they own the Microsoft OS, they've been able to bundle that very well with the Surface laptop. To the extent that right now, people are likely to buy a Surface laptop as compared to like a Dell laptop or an HP laptop. And that was what Google was supposed to do with the Pixel, but they fumbled the bag.
I think, well, that's one way of seeing it, both of you. But I also think Google has a plan for general hardware and jumping into the whole manufacturing space.
They fumbled a lot of hardware bags, so
because they probably have fumbled it. But if anything at all, we know that a company of Google's stature can afford to make mistakes.
So a lot of mistakes.
But how many mistakes can they make for us to call them a failure? Because see Google Glass.
Right
now Google Home is the only successful one, but it looks like Amazon Alexa is more important. It's more popular.
US, yeah.
Yes, but then Google Assistant is very popular on all Android phones. So except that people don't use Bixby because of the software. How good the software is. Yeah,
as we day here, no. Can't you see that AirPods started and they owned literally 100% of the market share, but then people get tired, people get used to the technology, they don't chase the prestige of it. Other options which are cheaper offers the same, if not better utility. Then you realize that the market growth tapers off, and a lot of people then start sort of accepting bootlegs or rip-offs of almost the same thing. And now it's not even called a rip-off because others model it in the same form of an AirPod, and we've come to accept. So I think Alexa, smart speakers. Now we have even Xiaomi having smart speakers and all those things. So the market share of Amazon with Alexa and all those things, because now there's Google, is it Home, like you said, Google HomePod or something.
Yeah, Google Home.
Those things that would eventually close in, and now people realize that everyone on their tech, it has the basic bottom line where it does almost the same thing. Are you still looking at your fish?
Sorry.
Okay.
I just got them a tiny barrel, and they are entering and exploring it. I agree. Yeah.
Oh,
okay. So they have the same. And you say you don't need a girl. Anyway, so they have the same use when you think about it. And you don't get too bothered by whether it has a brand to it or not.
Exactly.
So I think we'll get to that point. But that notwithstanding, I don't think Google dropped the ball entirely with Pixel. I think it has a plan because now
I think
we realize that
they did. They did. But right now,
if not for anything, an example is you could, at least if you actually, I believe MKBHD is sort of like a powerhouse, or like his opinion really counts for a lot when it comes to smartphone rating. During his end of, I think
Unbox Therapy is better than him, but okay.
MKBHD is more influential. He recently interviewed Mark Zuckerberg on his podcast. Zuckerberg.
No, relax. Do you know why Lou doesn't get those gigs? He even said it. He says in one of his podcasts, he said we all know that he could have done big things if they were in America. But the fact that he's in Canada means
Justin Bieber is Canadian. Lily Sink is Canadian.
Justin Bieber,
Kim Batch is Canadian.
Tech is different.
It's the same, my guy.
And he's stationed in Canada. But you just
you could make that argument. You could definitely make that argument.
No, the argument doesn't hold water.
It actually does hold, because they were even talking about shipping challenges when it comes to review models for latest flagships. He's saying that they struggle.
The reason why I'm saying that is because day-to-day. Day-to-day is also Canadian.
Day-to-day, yes, exactly. He's also
he doesn't regularly get models like the way the American YouTubers like review models.
Yeah, I'm telling you.
No, but if they were influential enough.
Oh, but what are you saying? Lou is not influential.
No, relatively as compared to the established.
People. Right now, for the average American, if they want to get any device,
I'm triggering Max.
Relax.
For advice.
Tell us, relax.
I'm triggering Max.
What do you mean by influence?
I think that this thing will trigger him.
No,
10 years in the game and counting. 10 years or more. Even Jerry rig everything, get high past MKBHD. But we just know the top.
No, you're lying. MKBHD has more. See that if you see that his portable smart what's the name? The smart projector. That video. The dope
what
tech.
are you people talking about?
His recent dope tech. Even my provost sent me the video. My provost sent me the video on WhatsApp. That have you seen this?
Do you know what the problem is?
I call reach.
The problem is
REACH.
Silas,
reach.
Silas, do you know the problem is?
Reach.
The problem is cultural appropriation. The problem is cultural appropriation. Everybody. No, I'm not lie you. Everybody likes MKBHD because he's black. One of the reasons why he's.
That's why. No. The fact that he's black.
I mean, first he's a brother. First and first, he's a brother.
I feel that he's being held as a trophy because he's outdoing himself.
No, but it's not the same way. Best like this guy, your average consumer. He's also black.
Your average consumer is black, but he averages 500,000 views on his videos because he's relatively new if you think about it. You understand? And when it comes to black tech reviewers, I think Lou later is a force to reckon with. When he was averaging,
no one saying he's not. No one saying he's not. But me using the whole "I'm in Canada" thing as an excuse
I'm telling you, it's a fact
because Justin Bieber is Canadian. Canadian.
But tech is different. Don't you get it? Tech is different.
Yeah.
Tech is different. He should be strategic about the collaboration. That's all I'm trying to say. There are times you have to. You see, you need to know the right people. You need to network with the right people at the top. To the extent that they know that sending you a review unit is worth the headache or is worth the hassle.
Talk about endorsement deals. Do you know that affiliate marketing?
Lou, in my opinion, Lou basically reviews everything like it comes across.
Exactly. Everything that sense to him. But MKBHD
an equally
is very
good job with
strategic.
smartphones.
Oh yeah, but I feel like MKBHD. If not for anything at all.
But I don't know why they send
production quality. MKBHD does better than you.
Production quality.
Maxwell, this one they don't argue.
Overhead camera.
The red. You see the red cameras. The red cameras. MKBHD is in 8K.
I'm not gonna talk much. I'm not gonna talk much. Who if you watch 8K for yours? You if you watch 8K?
No, that dedication in creating content. The Team Cripsy is new part of Team Cripsy.
What's Team Cripsy? I don't know what Team Cripsy is.
There were a couple of YouTubers who was it Cripsy audio or Cripsy video, or was both?
No, it was both.
So they dedicated themselves to like producing the highest quality of videos on YouTube. I think it was MKBHD, Justin, Austin. Who else?
Yeah, Austin. ATD. Okay, Lou was also part.
Lou was okay.
And
there's your argument. That's 4 flat.
The average consumer is also part.
Oh, fear. What I'm saying is that he should have been more strategic.
Linus Tech Tips too is also.
Yeah, Linus Tech Tips. Yeah.
But he's too technical to appeal to the average person. He's usually
exactly
AMD models. I mean, smart processors and stuff. So
I think his day job is a computer tech. So yeah. I mean, he's an
MKBHD is interviewing people like Will Smith, Elon Musk,
Kobe.
Steve DeGrasse.
It's the pop culture oriented.
Neil deGrasse Tyson.
These people are American.
That would be true.
Lou later is going for
people.
Lou later is going for MWC. He's going to Xiaomi factory in Shenzhen, China, to see how they make stuff. He's going to all these fancy global stuff. So it should tell you that everyone in their space. You understand?
You should understand that everyone cares about what gets into their hands. And basically, when it comes to consumer tech, MKBHD satisfies that market, and like that's basically like a huge market as compared to
consumer tech.
Yes, consumer tech. Yes.
What are you talking about? And Lou does what?
I mean, Lou does a bit of everything.
He opens boxes.
He opens boxes.
And say, wow.
One time he unboxed, I think, over 50 Air Jordans or something. I mean,
he's diluting the brand.
Yes.
Do you know how he started? I think you people need to find out more about him.
Please,
he's my favorite tech YouTuber. I think
it's funny how
Lou started fixing iPhones. Lou started fixing iPhones and broken game consoles before he thought to start unboxing stuff. So if anything at all, he started with phones. You understand? He was a phone repairer. Although I think he has I think it's MKBHD who has a master's in business or something. Is it MKBHD?
No, he has a degree in business and marketing.
Yeah, something like that. Lou also has a degree. So you should tell you, all of them have done separate things, but found themselves in the same space. You understand? The only credit I'll give MKBHD that I won't give Lou, he started very young. Lou started in his late 20s. MKBHD started.
Lou is older than him, so.
Yeah, he's getting to 40. What are you people talking about?
I don't worry.
He has. Haven't you seen
Lou is married?
Wait, Lou is married.
Yeah. Haven't you seen his sports robot Boston Dynamics? His kids were there. He's married with kids. Yeah.
And the Techno Buffalo guy. The Techno Buffalo guy. He sold his company. And what's his name?
He wasn't that really mainstream like that. I mean, aside his blog.
His blog was, but the person was, the individual wasn't.
Yeah.
But now he has started a personal brand around unboxing this stuff. Anyway, not to get sidetracked. So Maxwell, why did you switch?
Successfully sidetracked.
Yeah. Why did you switch?
Why did I switch?
No, I think it was one of us was making a point about the Android iOS thing, and I brought up NKBHD, and then the conversation just STN.
I actually forgot. But what I'm trying to say is, why did I switch? So it was more of a personal reason. It wasn't down to being fed up with the whole system. I felt I'd seen all there is to see, and I was getting tired of the fuss that was being made about using an iPhone, right? And I was much more inclined to using something that I was comfortable with and didn't always hit me with subscriptions and all those things. And I was getting fed up with it, you understand? And there was a part, of course, I know this podcast is going out and all that, but there was a part about me that didn't like the idea that my phone can't really allow me to consume pirated content. And that really...
How do you consume? I want to learn. How do you consume pirated
content from music and all those things? You see, you have to download third-party apps.
So it's not legal. Okay.
Maxwell, so you are saying that you basically switched because you wanted to consume pirated content. Is that what you're saying?
Well, yeah. That was one of the reasons, and that also dovetails well into another aspect, which is sharing ability or cross-platform sharing. That challenge. A lot of people say it's down to ignorance, but I think it's actually true that there's a bit of restriction with iOS, and you have to admit it. But people say that, oh no,
I do admit that because I mean, before I switched, especially in school, like in class, where like people were trying to share PDFs, you realize that the Android users were able to like quickly share because like Bluetooth and all that. But then with the iOS guys, they either had to hop onto the sender, and then I think they have to send their hotspots, and then all that. So it was a bit long. But the nice thing about it is that once an Apple user gets it, it's very easy to transfer to another device because I feel like AirDrop is way better than
and way faster.
Way faster. Like
than
I remember
Bluetooth.
someone shared a movie from their MacBook to my iPhone within like minutes, and that was when like I got my phone first. So like I heard about AirDrop, but then seeing that rate of data transfer.
But have you tried Wi-Fi Direct? It's the same speed.
Oh yeah, Wi-Fi. But Wi-Fi Direct works better with similar phones. So like Samsung.
No, with Android. No, with all Android phones. It started with Samsung, but now it became mainstream.
Yeah, I know it became mainstream.
But it be stressful, or me try to see them that way.
You just starter might be stressful, but then after it's registered, as like the devices are registered, it's okay. But then you have to disconnect from your internet. Yeah, all that.
The person will be using your mobile data.
Exactly. Like it does a combination of Wi-Fi and hotspots. It makes
yeah. See the way you endorse the thing where you sound the
I can't how it stress me.
But that's one. You use an Android and then you also use an Apple device.
Yeah.
What's the experience like?
I love the iOS UI. I won't lie to you. It's so clean. The iPad, iPad OS. Mm-hmm. I love the iPad UI. It's very beautiful and it's simple. It's so simple, and the fact that
still hung up on iPhone iOS stuff, aren't
you? Yes and no. Yes, because someone has sent me this hackers. No, I've just seen when I unlocked it. I've seen a Walmart gift card, $1,000. They think they can hack me. Nonsense. Walmart. Yeah, have I bought anything from them before?
The question I wanted to ask you, yes, maybe forget, but I just remembered. I just remembered. I was about to ask, like, given your experience, you used an iPhone with the iPad, and you lost your Apple device. That's your iPhone, and right now you use the Android. Like, comparing the experience, like, how does it feel having two Apple devices? That's the iPhone and then the iPad. And right now you have a Huawei and then the iPad.
I don't really feel
seamless usage. Is this seamless?
Yes, because I barely transferred files. I barely transferred files. No, I barely transferred files initially because the only files you transfer are pictures or sometimes ebooks.
So how do you transfer them now?
I don't. I still download ebooks here because it's bigger, and also I don't read ebooks on my phone, and all my pictures. And this one takes very good pictures, so I take 0 pictures with the iPad now. So I mean, it's the change hasn't been much. It's just that this one, the iOS gives me more range with respect to usage, because I can transfer things from my PC to it without having worries. I can do some other things I don't talk about without having worries. So
pirated content.
Those are your words, not mine.
We all consume pirated content.
Not me. Please, not me.
I pay for the services I consume.
Yes, Salas and I are on the same Apple Music family.
Yes.
Salas can confirm I don't listen to pirated music. I have a Netflix subscription.
Yeah, you have a Netflix subscription.
I have a Netflix subscription, but other movies I don't know how I get them. They appear on my PC. Let's
our family should get their Apple One subscription.
Haven't you seen the conversation in the group that they are saying that they are only interested in Apple Music?
Wait,
you are the one who be interested in the Apple One. Anyway, so it's like for me, it hasn't been a major change. But then one thing I like is I like the nice design, and I like how simple everything is, and the screen quality is very good. That's one thing I like, because when I got the Huawei, I had to change some things with respect to the UI.
I stick to the software conversation as versus
hardware. I had to change some things to the UI. Like, for example, I didn't like the keyboard. The keyboard looked some way, so I'm now using the Google stock keyboard. I had to download an application that allowed me to use it, but the application has never crashed. So right now, it feels like it's the native keyboard because I've been using it since. Google Assistant understands me better than Siri. Like
That
I use yeah.
that's true. That's very
Yes,
true.
it understands me better. It's either it doesn't hear me or it hears me and see and types what I say exactly. And also to from generally it's I don't really I'm not really heavy on customization and all that. Like for example, if you look at my app tree, it's just black. The background is just black. That's basically so like for me it's yeah.
Obin's mobile background has been black ever since I've known him. So, knowing
Yeah.
it's like actually use an image as your wallpaper background.
Yeah, so and also to all the apps I use on the iPad, they have Android variants. So that means the whole this thing seamlessness may come from there. Like for example, if I want to send a file, I just upload it to Drive, or I email it to myself. Then I take my iPad and download it. Or if let's say I'm somewhere and I need a file, I just since it's on Drive, I just take my PC and get the file there. Right now, I save a lot of files from Thingiverse. Thingiverse has an online cloud something. So whenever I select something,
you pay for it?
No, it's free. I save it. It's open source. I save it onto my account. Then I take a different machine. I log in with my credentials and download the file and print.
What's a cloud storage?
It's not really a cloud storage per se. It's attached to your account, just like Fusion 360. Fusion 360.
What's the gig? What's the gig on that?
I don't really know.
It's unlimited.
I'll have to check that and get back to you. I don't remember, but I haven't had any issues with that. Hey, we've been speaking for long.
Yeah. But Maxwell, but is there anything on should I say on your old phone or iOS that you miss that like you wish Android had?
That'd probably be the camera.
Oh, okay.
Because obviously the iPhone XS had a hell of a camera, but beyond that, in terms of utility, I'm not going to kid myself and say there's something I can't do as well on my current Samsung that I could do on my Apple device. So I think it's down to prestige and
branding
and a certain wants to be associated with this whole
elitist
Apple
mindset.
Elitist mindset thing, and that's what Apple has sold a lot of their business products on. And if you think about it, that's all Apple has in the end, because boot for boot comparison in terms of value, they do almost all. In some cases, they're even late to the party. They do almost all others are doing, but just with an Apple touch.
Because I feel like Apple does it better, though.
They don't do it better. Better is relative.
Yeah, better is relative. I said that's why I said I added in my opinion, because an example is the widget edit function. Like you could, as in the widget, being able to like edit your home screen.
Okay.
I mean, if you go to Twitter right now, like there's literally like I don't know if Obin has seen anything like that. There's literally like
there's a thread on
like
that.
people basically sharing their like home screen and wallpaper creations and all that. And then for Android, I didn't exactly see.
But then I ask this question: what is the utility of it?
What's the utility? Customization.
To flex on us.
So, okay, then to give you a better word, what is the functionality?
Functionality. Nothing really.
Nothing really.
To flex on us.
But you touch on realize that before, I mean, Android gives you like so much room to like customize your phone. But the prior iOS,
I think iOS
Apple didn't exactly give you that freedom.
Yeah, like you put it, the fuss around Apple is Apple has starved its customers of freedom. So when they give a bit of it, they get excited. That's all there is.
Yeah. I mean, that's a
you
good
have to
drug,
admit
and
it.
everyone is high on it.
Yeah, because I don't see. And now Android has also sped ahead with all its innovations. Now all they have when it comes to their OS updates, and they are running out of things. In fact, almost everyone was running out of things to bring to the table. If you think about it, now they're just tinkering with relatively unimportant aspects of the OS because they basically fulfilled almost everything that they need fulfilled from a functional point of view. I mean, if all you have to boast is new widgets, it should tell you that we are in for trouble.
But I feel like Apple has much more room to like innovate because of the ecosystem.
No, they have much more room to catch up, not innovate.
Oh, I mean, innovate.
Yeah. No, there's a difference between innovate and catch up. Android has already no,
not related.
Android has already done it, so they are catching up. They are playing catch up.
Wait,
let's call a spade, and David's plastic spoon, a plastic spoon.
Oh, I'm making a different point actually. I mean, okay. I clearly agree with what you're saying, but the point I'm making is that
thank you.
Like with things like Apple Fitness Plus, where like you're able to use your Apple Watch to actually follow a trainer, like a training session or something on your iPhone. I feel like it's groundbreaking as compared to like what you get from regular fitness apps. Fitness apps don't give you that level of, shall I say, immersion with your health journey. But then Apple is able to do that given their ecosystem. So I feel like because of their ecosystem, they have much more room to innovate because they'll be basically building integrations from your iPhone to your Apple Watch, to your MacBook to your iPad. And so all this until like they probably run out of ideas or something. I feel like they have much more room to innovate given their ecosystem as compared to Android.
Apple suffocates you and gives you a breath of fresh air for a hefty price and tells you that you're supposed to feel happy about it. That's all that happens.
Exactly,
I'm not going to feel grateful for something that Android has offered a long time ago or has given room for developers to work on.
I feel like Android has faults everyone. It's like they just set the expectations so high that Apple has to do a lot of catch up. So like,
yeah.
Exactly.
I mean, you can't blame Apple.
Guys, that's all the time we have for the Software Novice podcast. Thanks for listening to us. And I know you definitely... I know
if you keep this up, you only have yourself to talk to. Silas will boycott this thing immediately. Silas was making a key point and you just cut him off and you end up.
Oh no, Silas has finished.
Oh yeah,
Silas,
I mean, you do that, but you're like,
Silas, does this chattering animal speak for you? Does he speak for you? Speak for you. You haven't finished. Go ahead.
Oh, but I'm done. Sorry, I'm done.
Anyway, I think it's been a very informative conversation. I wish we had more time. Would we continue in our next episode? Or?
I think we should.
Yeah. I feel like in the next episode we could probably invite the boys like Douglas and something. I don't know. Because when it comes to these kind of conversations, especially Douglas is trying to say the most passionate person I'll come across when it comes to Android.
Is he an Android evangelist or an Apple evangelist?
He's not exactly one, but he's able to speak well for both sides, and he also speaks part of both sides as well. So
I'll speak to him, and I'll see if he's available. But he's currently I'll speak to him and see if he's available. I wanted to say where he is, but then probably he may not be comfortable with that. All right, so that's all we have for you guys. The usual, So if you have any questions, any comments, which you want to send in, just send it to us via social media platforms, and also to keep rating us on whatever podcast platform you are listening to. They are listening to us on. And if anything, just hit us up as usual.